when I started my trucking business, I had a guy named Steve Stone. He worked with me. He was a dedicated worker for me. Because at the time I started, this young man would go 2-3 weeks without pay until we got our money in, which I really, really loved him for it and never forget what he had done for me. And then I needed another guy, and at that time, Rico Drayton, which is now called Flavor, he lived in Freeport, and I got him to drive my truck. And he would come to, I would pick him up every morning. I'm responsible for that clock that he wears on his chest. Because every morning he was supposed to be at our house at 7, and I would be in my kitchen waiting, and he wouldn't show up, so I would jump in the car and go down to his house, and his mother, Mrs. Drayton, would come to the door, and I would say, "Is Rico up?" And she would say, "No, Mr. Ridenhour, he's just getting up," or something like that. And he would come to the door and say, "Oh, Mr. Ridenhour, I'm so sorry I'm late." And so that would happen every day, and finally one day he comes to the door and I said, "Why don't you get a clock and put it on your chest with an alarm? And this way you'll know what time it is." So that's basically where that clock came from.
So you owe some royalties, basically.
Yeah, he never gave me a dime. Never gave me a dime. But that's because he was late. I taught him how to drive in Manhattan, and he would tease me all the time because I would say, "You want a hot dog? Want a hot dog?" Matter of fact, he knew me so well I would have credit with the hot dog man. I think I'm the only one in New York City that had credit with the hot dog man on 63rd and 3rd. Flavor, I always had to tell him, "Don't talk too much. When we get the check, when we move the furniture and get the check, just move on out and go." And he said, "What? I know." I said, "Because we don't want to start talking to these people. We just want to get paid, bring the furniture in," because we was going to exclusive homes, you know, and it was just strictly business. Didn't want to get to know people. We was delivering furniture on the same block that Richard Nixon lived on in Saddle River, New Jersey. Flavor worked with me until Public Enemy really kicked off. And
he ever give you credit for the clock?
He never gave me credit for the clock. But he gave me credit for taking him for the hot dogs. And he gave me credit for teaching him how to drive in Manhattan. Because I would tell him, stay in the middle. If you're going to make a right or left for about 18 blocks or 20 blocks away, go down the middle until you get about 4 blocks away and get to the side that you're going to make a turn. And then, because he'll tell you today, "Mr. Ridenhour told me I was driving in New York."